We'll begin this hour in Abuja with the back and forth between the National Assembly and the judiciary on the deletion of Section 84, subsection 12 has taken a new turn. This is coming barely a week after Justice Evelyn Ayadike of the Federal High Court, Umaya, Abia State, ordered the Attorney General of the Federation to delete the section from the Electoral Act. And with that judgment in mind, lawmakers in the Senate and the House of Representatives have resolved to appeal the judgment. Jakadesa has stated.
A federal high court in Umahia, Abia State, ordered the Attorney General of the Federation to immediately delete Section 84, subsection 12 of the amended Electoral Act. The section reads, "No political appointee at any level shall be voting as a delegate or be voted for at the convention or congress of any political party for the purpose of the nomination of candidates for any election." Members of the House are enraged by the controversial judgment as Katsina State Legislator Sada Soli brings it up under matters of privilege. He says the judgment breached his right as a lawmaker.
A court, a judge, somewhere, Mr. Speaker, is given that right to an executive appointee encroaching into the principles of separation of powers.
Others who spoke on the motion cautioned against dragging the National Assembly in the mud by usurping its functions.
In the Constitution, where there is separation of powers and where we have been made by the provision of the Constitution for us to make laws, that somebody is trying to do our job.
The court should have made an order for the National Assembly to be joined before taking any action.
Members of this institution must rise against this aberration. We are not only lawmakers, we must be custodians of laws, and laws must have to be obeyed in this country.
I cannot sit here and allow the institution which I at this present time head and lead to be ridiculed under my watch.
Arising from debate on the matter, the House resolved to appeal the controversial judgment. It also called on Abubakar Malami to stay action on the execution of the judgment while it agreed to petition the National Judicial Council on the matter. President Muhammadu Buhari signed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill into law in February on the condition that the National Assembly will expunge Section 84, subsection 12. But barely 1 week after, a federal high court seated in Abuja barred the President, the Attorney General of the Federation, and the National Assembly from tampering with the law. Jakadesa, TVC News, Abuja.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami says the deletion of Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022 is still a work in progress and is being considered as such. The AGF spoke while fielding questions from State House correspondents after the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting earlier today. According to him, while the possibility of appeal is not in doubt, government creators and the Law Reform Commission responsible for the codification and gazetting of the laws are collaborating with the Office of the Attorney General to ensure any addition made to the law is in line with provisions of the law.
It is indeed a work in progress against the background of the fact that the Law Reform Commission is involved statutorily in the which is a ministry, a parastatal under the supervision of the Office of the Attorney General, is a party to the process of codification of the law. The government printers, which is saddled with the responsibility of gazetting our laws on the request of the Office of the Attorney General, is equally involved. And above all, as you rightly stated, the possibility of an appeal is equally there. So what I am saying in effect is deletion of Section 84, so Section 12 is a work in progress and is being considered as such.
Elsewhere, proceedings in relation to the extradition of suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari to the United States has been stalled at the Federal High Court, Abuja. Mr. Kyari is to be handed over to the U.S. government over allegations of wire fraud involving Abbas Rahman, also known as Hush Puppy, an Instagram celebrity. The Attorney General of the Federation filed an extradition application at the Federal High Court in Abuja following a request by the diplomatic representative of the U.S. Embassy. The request from the U.S. authorities, according to Mr. Malami, is for the surrender of Abba Kyari, who is a subject in a superseding 3-count indictment. At the hearing of the suit, counsel to the AGF, Pius Akuta, informed the court that the case was for preliminary hearing. Counsel to Mr. Kyari, Nureni Jimo, told the court he had not been served with relevant court papers. Subsequently, the judge adjourned the suit to 27th April, following Mr. Akuta's undertaking to serve the necessary court documents on Mr. Kyari within 2 days. And let's talk security now. The Ogun State Police Command has paraded 15 suspects arrested in connection with different crimes, including armed robbery, kidnapping, and murder. The Commissioner of Police, Larry Bankole, who paraded the suspects at the command's headquarters, says they were arrested during various operations across the state. He said his men have been able to reduce the activities of the criminals at major flashpoints, and more achievements will be recorded in curbing crimes through the cooperation of the people.
The command wants to reiterate its commitment to ensuring adequate security of life and property. We will leave no stone unturned in ridding the state of crime and criminality. This is a promise we made to the good people of Ogun State, and this is a promise that we ensure that we keep. And in doing this, I hereby call on the good people of the state to partner with the command to carry out this onerous task.
And operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have seized over 1.9 million tablets of tramadol and codeine imported into the country from Pakistan and the United Kingdom through the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos. Of the total seizures, 40 cartons of Codamol, a brand of paracetamol with codeine, which is classified as opioid, was seized from a freight agent, Erakume Ehis. The seizure, made on the 10th of March, translates to 349,800 tablets weighing 336 kilograms. Also, about 1.5 million tablets of tramadol were recovered on the 15th of March by operatives in collaboration with aviation security and customs service personnel at the airport. Meanwhile, NDLEA operatives have arrested one of the kingpins behind the attempt to smuggle 11.93 kilograms of cocaine to Accra, Ghana, through the Seme land border in Lagos. The 50-year-old suspect, Oyewumi Ahmed, was arrested at the Mile 2 area of Lagos following the arrest of a driver, Usagi Anthony, at Baji Seme Bagdagri Expressway on the 23rd of January. Away from that, let's tell you that the Federal Executive Council has approved the sum of 92.12 billion naira for the construction of a second runway at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. This approval is coming a day after President Buhari inaugurated a new terminal building at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika disclosed the development while briefing State House correspondents at the end of the virtual council meeting presided over by President Buhari at the presidential villa. He said the entire sum would be spread over a number of projects to be carried out at the airport within a period of 12 months. According to the minister, the approval is a follow-up of President Buhari's directive to the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, to source special funding for the second runway at the airport.
Historically, there has been an attempt to put up a runway in Abuja. At the time, the company that was given the contract quoted 75 billion naira, and the contract was awarded by Nigerians through the People's Parliament rose up and struggled for the contract to be cancelled. Perhaps what should have been done at that time, if funding or price was the issue, they could have reviewed it downwards to appropriate price and get the runway done, not throwing the baby with the bathwater. If that had happened during the life and times of the first government, we wouldn't have the need to shut down Abuja for repairs for some 6 odd weeks.
Now, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria is calling on the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, the Nigeria Mid and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC), and other regulatory bodies to ensure that citizens pay the approved price of 165 naira per litre for petrol in all parts of the country. TVC News senior correspondent Sharon Ijason was at the State of the Nation press briefing by the union in Lagos.
Recently, Nigerians in some parts of the country faced endless queues at filling stations daily while trying to get petrol. The reason for the fuel scarcity was first attributed to the poor petrol imported into the country and later to the hoarding of the products by marketers. The most recent excuse is the refusal of tanker drivers to transport petrol to different parts of the country. At this press briefing in Lagos, the national president of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasan, Festus Osifio, blamed non-availability of foreign exchange at CBN rate to oil marketers, high taxes and levies from importation of petroleum products for the fuel crisis.
Today, the price of PMS as approved by government still remains about 162 naira. So for marketers to be shortchanging the Nigerian public, why the same taxpayers are also the ones that are subsidizing the same product is a double jeopardy. So we hereby urge the government and the regulators to ensure that the appropriate pricing as approved by the old PPPROA is maintained. The non-availability of foreign exchange at CBN rates to marketers is largely responsible for the increase as the source effects from the parallel market. This is without prejudice to the activities of unscrupulous marketers that are bent on milking Nigerians dry.
He spoke further on the issue of crude oil and pipeline vandalism, adding that government should review enabling legal instruments for sanctioning violators.
Pipelines' integrity will be sound enough to enable safe transportation of crude and products all over the country, while government establishes a special force committed to strict enforcement of pipeline right-of-ways. Pipeline installation can now be done using state-of-the-art technology in a manner that will be inaccessible to vandals. We expect that the managers of a pipeline imbibe the culture of regular maintenance, while the government will live up to its responsibility of providing adequate security.
The oil workers at the end of the conference insist that they will continue to hold government at all fronts towards ensuring nation building, as it is a collective responsibility. Sharon Ijason, TVC News.
Finally, the All Progressives Congress has begun screening for aspirants vying for different elective positions ahead of the party's national convention slated for March 26. Based on the schedule of activities and timetable for the Saturday elective national convention, the screen of aspirants was earlier scheduled for last Saturday, followed by appeals on Sunday. The screening committee, headed by Katsina State Governor Bello Masari, is expected to round up the process as soon as possible. Habdalawa reports.
With the All Progressives Congress National Convention Screening Committee having begun work late on Tuesday night, there are indications that all the national chairmanship aspirants will be cleared to face the delegates despite talks of a consensus option. This will be considered as a move to accommodate aspirants for all the positions to avoid any litigations. Aspirants for the national chairmanship office that had been zoned to the North Central include Abdullahi Adamu, Tankwal Makura, Sani Musa, George Akume, Salim Mustafa, and Mohamed Esu. The screening started by 10 p.m. on Tuesday and lasted till midnight. Aspirants have described the process so far as credible.
The process is okay. I mean, the way the setup inside is quite okay. And I mean, you're just seeing the crowd outside, but inside we did it very well, and everything went well. And I believe that the best will come out of what they are doing tonight.
It was an interactive session, so to speak, and I think I learned quite a lot from them, and maybe they learned a little from me as well, but by and large, it went on well.
Although the party zoned the chairmanship seat to the North Central, one aspirant, Abdulaziz Yari, is determined to present himself in an open contest for the position. With this, the committee will now screen all aspirants for all zoned positions, extending them the privilege. Habib Alawal, TVC News, Abuja.
Let's now talk to the chairman, media and publicity of the party's national convention and governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, who joins us live from our Abuja studio. Thank you for joining us, Your Excellency. The APC is running behind schedule, particularly with the screening exercise, which is expected to be followed with appeals. What's the update with that exercise as we speak? And when will there be room for appeals now that it's just a few days to the convention?
There won't even be any appeal. There won't be any appeal in the sense that our first choice is actually to have a consensus, and as you know, this evening, just about 2 hours ago, we had a meeting with Mr. President, with all the governors, and that was the topic of discussion. Then there is also going to be another meeting with all the aspirants that His Excellency Mr. President is having in the next couple of minutes, actually at 8 o'clock. And we are hoping that by the time that meeting is held, then as far as the national chairmanship position, which is the one that is creating a lot of areas for concern, that one will be resolved this evening. And so the question of appeal may not even come up. But should it come, we still have tomorrow, and we have also Friday to be able to do that.
You're sounding like the president has settled for a consensus candidate for the party's national chairman. Is that its case, particularly with the meeting you had with him earlier today?
The meeting the leadership of the party had with Mr. President is looking more towards having a consensus candidate. And if you look at it, it won't be something new in the sense that that's how Akande came in by consensus, that's how Ogun came in by consensus, and that's how Oshimole also came in by consensus. So having a chairmanship position by consensus is really not anything new. It is in line with the practice of APC.
A consensus arrangement would mean that every other interested party is agreeing to the decision made by the leadership of the party. What happens if there is no consensus? I mean, I'm talking about the agreement within the other aspirants. What happens next?
Well, as I said, by the time Mr. President has meeting with all the chairmen this evening, we are hoping that we won't even get to that level. As you know, discussions have been going on for a very long time, and within the aspirants have also been having their various meetings. A lot of aspirants have gotten together and they were having their meetings. And we are hoping that by the time that Mr. President meets with them today, and then finally the party also meets with some of the aspirants tomorrow, then it is going to be a consensus.
Before the meeting with the president, APC governors have also been meeting, and you were quoted to have said that all the governors who had different understanding of the convention are now together. Does this include the governors who expressed displeasure with the leadership change, or particularly who had issues with the individual who now currently chairs the APC caretaker committee?
The answer is yes. If you look at the outcome of the meeting with Mr. President today in the villa, we had all those people you are talking about, and we have all gotten together to understand that the party is stronger than anybody, and for that reason there is no need, because of one interest or the other, to continue to disagree. So at the meeting today, nearly everybody was there, and I tell some of the people you have in mind, if you look at the press conference we had, after the meeting with Mr. President, you will see them there. And this same question you asked was also asked, and it was answered in that direction, that we are all on one page right now.
The APC is moving into its national convention with a baggage of, unresolved issues from wards and state congresses. What's the assurance you have about your preparation and indeed how things will turn out after Saturday?
Well, I don't know what you mean by unresolved issues, because after the congresses, we had an opportunity, to visit and resolve most of those issues. We had appeal committees, and the appeal committees went together and discussed with a lot of other aspirants and brought people together. But if you are concerned about maybe some of the usual political issues where some people actually went to court and then they are still in court or things like that, that's a different thing, and that is actually in every political party. It's not only APC. And it's very difficult to eliminate all those. At the national level, if you remember, a reconciliation committee was even set up, to go around the country and look at all these issues and resolve them. But those issues are not issues that have much to do with the convention, because convention will still take place. We can say that we must have a problem-free political party before we have a convention.
What are your expectations at the national convention of the party this weekend?
I strongly believe we are going to come out stronger, as we have already started showing right now. APC has one advantage that I think a lot of other political parties don't have. Nearly everyone that you talk to in APC has so much respect for Mr. President, so we have leadership. You cannot say the same about the other political parties. We have a situation where both the followers, the leaders of the party and all the major stakeholders respect the leadership of the party led by Mr. President. So for that reason, I have no doubt in my mind that we are going to come out a much stronger political party.
Governor Abdullahi Sule is the chairman, media and publicity of the APC's national convention. Thank you for talking to us tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And as the APC prepares for its national convention, the FCT Police Command says it's implementing what it describes as a robust strategy to ensure safety of lives and property before, during and after the national convention scheduled to hold on Saturday. The strategy includes increased deployment and raids of black spots in Abuja. Sifonesian has more.
Preparations are gaining momentum at the venue, Eagle Square here, where the APC convention will be holding on Saturday. The stage is presently being erected, and we're told that security operatives and mufti have been deployed in and around these premises. The FCT police have said that they have a robust strategy to ensure safety of life and property before, during and after the convention.
In APC convention now, we are not new to it. We are activating from Friday to Saturday to Sunday. It's a 3 days movement we are doing to ensure safety before, during, and after the convention. That's what we are doing. We have mobilized robustly, we have deployed robustly to make sure everybody is safe.
We're also told that security operatives have been deployed to facilities where APC members and delegates would be lodging during and after the convention.
Every committee, just like the security committee, all the committees, all the leaders, all the delegates, members and stalwarts of APC are enthusiastic and jeering and working assiduously towards a successful national convention of the APC. And we want to assure you and assure Nigerians that APC as the biggest political party in Africa, we are coming off the convention stronger, more solid.
The whole hotels that they gave us, even the one they didn't give us, we have discovered that they have put in some of their supporters and friends and this. We are guarding the whole hotels. We are monitoring the whole hotel. We have raided a lot of shanties and miscreant areas in Abuja, especially black spots to ensure that the area is safe for everybody. Because not only APC people that are in town, PDP people are equally in town. And the other parties are equally, some are doing their convention in different hotels.
The police are assuring that it would be cool and calm during and after the convention.
And with barely 3 days to the All Progressives Congress National Convention, another aspirant for the national chairmanship position of the party, Abdullahi Shinkafi, has withdrawn from the race. Dr. Shinkafi says the decision to withdraw from the race is to respect the party supremacy and the decision to zone the position to the North Central. He appealed to all party members, especially governors and National Assembly members, to support Governor Mai Mala Buni in his quest to conduct a free, fair and transparent national convention that will lead to the APC, to victory in the 2023 general elections. Abdullahi Shinkafi's withdrawal follows that of former governor of Borno State, Ali Modu Sharif, who also pulled out due to the party's zoning arrangement.
I hereby withdrawn from the contest. I hereby also respect the party's supremacy, going by the zoning by the caretaker and extraordinary convention planning committee led by His Excellency Mai Mala Buni. The office of the national chairman, which I have intended to contest for, have been zoned to the North Central. I know what is called party supremacy. I know what is called party administration. I know what is called respect for the leaders.
Away from politics, the Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, YEGA Africa, has launched an engagement with local government officials, faith-based organizations, youth and women groups to discuss ways to promote a culture of public deliberation for informed policy decisions at the grassroots. The first phase of the engagement starts in Lagos with 3 local government areas.
Since Nigeria returned to democracy in 1999, there has been a decline in the delivery of social service at the local government level due to endemic corruption, weak institutions, and oversight. As a result of this, the Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, YEGA Africa, is engaging social groups, local government officials, youth, and women on opportunities for democracy that promotes a culture of public deliberation and informed policy decisions at the grassroots.
And the idea for deliberative democracy and what we are calling the People's Assembly is to have people from different interest groups in a community deliberate on issues that concern them. So they highlight issues, they discuss around the issues, and then they agree on what is most important to them at that point, and they put it together and engage government as a policy decision.
Conversation seeks to establish a representative kind of democracy, and this initiative is to have representatives of different interest groups at the local government level, which is the government that is closest to the people, hold a sort of assembly, and this is in partnership, or this is in collaboration with the local government's elected officials as well.
For YEGA Africa, the first phase of the program, which involves the 3 local government areas in Lagos, will be replicated in other parts of the country. It is an avenue to reach out to more people at the grassroots and inform them about how local governments should operate in the country.
However, the idea is actually to have the government and the interest groups, the people, in the same room to have the conversation. But now we only have social fair representation or local government represented here. But post this, the conversation is to now go to the local government offices and engage them. But we're hoping that subsequent People's Assembly, you have both the government in the room and then the people engaging in the public deliberation.
First step, right? This is the pilot meeting. After this, they would go back to their different local governments. We would also engage. We are engaging with the chairman or the chairman of the 3 local governments that are being represented here today. So after this, they go back. We also support them, or we guide them in hosting or in holding this assembly right? And we ensure that the local government chairman is also carried along. So,
in addition, many are of the opinion that if the dividends of democracy can reach people at the grassroots, that the country can be on the path of growth and development. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Lagos.
The National Youth Service Corps members have been mandated to maintain discipline during the course of serving their fatherland. This advice was given during the swearing-in of the 2022 Batch A Stream 2 Corps members at the Anokwaja area of Lagos. Inolua Popola has details and will return with business news.
Over 2,000 Corps members were sworn in at the NYSC orientation camp in Lagos State. With the march past, life band and flag bearers, the Corps members expressed delight to have finally been inducted into the scheme. The state coordinator, also representing the NYSC Director General, Major General Shaibu Ibrahim, urged Corps members to be ready for the camp trainings as part of their roles in fervently serving the country.
We expect excellency in your conduct, in your everyday activity right here in the orientation camp. You must therefore shun all aspects of cultism, bribery, corruption, and all forms that would degrade your personal dignity.
There have been debates about the effectiveness of the scheme, but these Corps members believe that is the only way to strengthen our diversity and unity.
NYSC is effective. I believe it depends on the individual and your mindset you get, because the training and the programs they are giving to us is enough to develop somebody.
They also discussed the state of the nation, especially the rising insecurity.
Like the Director General will always say, don't travel in the night. Whenever you're traveling and it's 6 p.m., crash wherever you have seen. Sleep there. The next day you continue. And of course, NYSC will have put every modalities in place to make sure that our Corps members are secured.
With the COVID-19 virus still on the rise, some Corps members have been employed to ensure strict compliance with the COVID-19 protocols among their peers.
This union is actually formed just to curb COVID, just to keep everyone on this camp safe. Especially because most of us we're told to tell everyone on this camp to always wear their facial mask whenever we're gathering for any meeting.
Though they are paid 33,000 naira monthly, there is hope that the NYSC Trust Fund Bill would be passed into law to encourage self-employment amongst Corps members. In Niolua Popola, TVC News, Lagos.
President Buhari has reassured Nigerians his government remains focused on providing an enabling environment for the private sector to thrive and drive investments in the economy. The president made this known at the official inauguration of the Dangote fertilizer plant in Lagos.
It was an historic moment for Nigeria as President Muhammadu Buhari inaugurated the Dangote fertilizer plant located at Lekki Free Trade Zone in Lagos. This auspicious event had in attendance eminent personalities from both the public and private sectors who have converged to witness the commissioning of one of the largest fertilizer plants in the world with a production capacity of 3 million tons of urea and ammonia annually. In his opening speech, President Buhari lauded the chairman, board and management of Dangote Industries Limited for their business initiative in conceptualizing and building this plant. Says the development will further advance Nigerians' drive towards achieving self-sufficiency in food production, create jobs, increase the inflow of foreign exchange and accelerate economic growth.
This new plant is a renewed testament to the widely acknowledged patriotism of Aliko Dangote and the leadership of Dangote Industries Limited. It also demonstrates their commitment to the socio-economic development of our country and the well-being of our people.
On his part, the governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, described the plant as a major milestone to the advancement of the state's economy.
Today here, this free zone is not only home
to the largest fertilizer in Africa, but we will certainly be home to the largest refinery, a single refinery in the entire world, come later in this year.
We need more gas, to put up industries like this. And like what I keep saying today, if you are going to, concentrate on this energy transition, with just 2 billion scope of gas, which is like 10 times of what you consume here, you can actually even float the naira. Yes, you can earn more than what the oil is bringing. Oil is bringing about 24, 25 billion. With 10 plants like this, you can bring it into the country $25 billion. And that can help to stabilize our currency. It can help now to get naira back to 300 to $1 and also be stable. So we need to really concentrate on the usage of our gas.
Considering the significant role that fertilizer plays in the food supply chain, it is imperative to note that the unveiling of the plant is coming at a critical time when the world is suffering from supply shortages due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine crisis. Blessed Omanose, TVC News, Lagos.
Industry stakeholders in the business and legal space have advocated the need for sound corporate governance as the foundation that creates transparency and establishes the trust required to keep the global financial system running. They made this known in Lagos at the inauguration of the Corporate Governance Triangle, an initiative of the Nigerian Bar Association Section on Business Law, Nigerian Exchange Limited, and the Institute of Directors, Nigeria. Speaking at the event, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, Temi Popola, who was represented by Jude Chiemaka, Divisional Head Capital Markets at the NGX, maintains that the initiative will foster good corporate governance in Nigeria for members of the business law community, directors and managers of businesses, shareholders, and other corporate stakeholders. Meanwhile, Chairman of NBA SBL, Ayuli Jamide, noted that the platform will continue to develop and expand, reform existing frontiers in the Nigerian corporate governance and compliance sphere.
The implication of this really is that it helps to build investor confidence, especially as the NGX is positioned to be the leading exchange within the African region. And so we'll expect international investors to find these companies worthy, and we'll continue to push for better governance, adopting international best practices at all times to ensure that the investors who utilize our platforms are assured that the companies that are listed on our platforms have the highest standards of corporate governance.
There's no greater way to have a conversation about corporate governance than to bring these three institutions together. And once we're together, we can forge ahead and begin to change the narrative.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria is encouraging importers to transit to manufacturing as a way of building a viable economy. The Standards Agency says a robust manufacturing sector is key to improving the country's gross domestic product.
The Standards Organization of Nigeria says that it has continued to enforce compliance to standards procedures through strategic tracking and monitoring of products and aggressive market surveillance, noting that its enforcement activities is yielding results.
We have our result before us. We have strategized for this year. And this year, as it is, we have a lot of things on ground to be destroyed already. You know, before we destroy anything, we have to go for the court order. We are in the process of obtaining the court orders. And then when you get the court order, of course, based on Act 14 of 2015, we have to give 14 days notice to the owner of those goods before we destroy them. So this is the process we are right now.
But beyond enforcing compliance to quality parameters, the Standards Agency says that it is encouraging importers to transit to manufacturing of goods as a way of boosting the country's gross domestic products and creating employment.
When you import, in transit, you don't know what can happen. Sometimes they don't even go there. They pay money into the account of these people and they ship the goods to them. Sometimes when the goods arrive here, that is when they know that there's something wrong with the good. We have had those instances. We think this is something that can be done here. We educate them on the importance of why you should have this factory here. And some of them go into collaboration with somebody from that side. They come here, do their article of association and all that, and they start on a small scale. Before you know, they have grown to have more than 1-2 lines in their factory producing the same product locally here.
The conviction is that a robust manufacturing sector would by extension improve the national economy in terms of its gross domestic product growth. Ifunanya Eze, TVC News, Lagos.
Midweek business stayed with average prices on shares as fund managers struggled to mitigate losses. We have detailed report on markets.
Investment managers struggled throughout the trading hours to pick securities with improved prices, but they only made average impacts. Cautious trades went on in many of the sectors as the market attempted to rebalance itself. The index stayed almost flat from mid-trade to closing hours. Paintmaker CAP made a maximum gain of 10% at the end of transactions. Len Africa, Champion Breweries, Sterling Bank, and Cornwell were other trade gainers. Business losers were FCMB, Mutual Benefits, ABC Transport, Pharmadeco, and FTN Cocoa. 267 million units of shares were traded at the value of 3.21 billion naira. Efyong Eko, TVC News, Lagos.